Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to episode number 3 of the Midwest Contractor. Well, I've just had my coffee, just woke up. As you can see, it's almost 6:30 in the morning, and we're ready to get to work. I have already accepted a couple of fertilizing contracts. Yeah, I know, been there, done that. As you can see in the upper part of the screen, fields 64 and 74. We're going to get to those in a minute, but first I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do here today and how I wanted to move forward now that we've advanced to September. And I think I'm going to pivot a little bit. In the last episode, we harvested our field of wheat over there and sold that, baled up the straw and sold that. But I'm looking at the calendar. It is September. Let's see. Let me get back in here to where the prices screen. Okay. It is September. I don't have a silo. I do want to build one, but not right now. And when we look at stuff like oats and sorghum, relatively close in price. I know sorghum yields a lot better, but oats will produce us straw. I believe both take about 4 months to grow. And if we look at where we're at now, 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, puts us right at the peak, or close to it. So I'm kind of thinking what I want to do is get these fields of ours prepped and ready and planted today with some oats. So that's what we're going to start out doing. I know the very first thing we need to do on our wheat field there is get some lime on it, because it has nothing. It has no fertilization, no lime, zero. It also needs plowed. So before we get started on our fertilizing contracts, where we're going to need the spreader, I'm going to use the spreader real quick to get some lime on these fields. After I left you in the last episode, I did take the time before I called it a day to drive to the shop and pick up some seeds, some lime, just generally things that we needed for today, for this specific episode. All right. As you can see, here's the lime and the seeds. I think I'll pull this out and we'll unload this stuff before we before we fill up the spreader. Was having a difficult time the last round of supplies that we purchased, and I couldn't figure out why it was so hard to unload everything. And then it dawned on me, well, this is what I get for using autoload. When you use autoload and you try to pull things off of a trailer that has been auto-loaded, it tends to not want to give them up. Okay, excellent. All right, let's jump in the Ford, get loaded up with some lime, and let's get started. we'll go ahead and lime this field, and then I'll unload the spreader, put some fertilizer in it, and we can tackle our contracts. I hope I have enough lime. I did purchase the big bags, the bags that come with, I believe it's one of the greenhouse pack mods that requires seeds, fertilizer, and lime, and they pack the because you'll notice we didn't even empty a bag. They pack the lime in I think these are 8,000 liter bags, yes, and the seeds in 4,000 liter bags, and I believe the fertilizer the same way. So if you're interested in those, they are a lot more efficient. You don't need quite as many. Okay. Let's get Courseplay up here. Number of headlands, we'll just do one. I'm going to try to do this sharp. No skips. And again, I like to use a negative field margin simply because it allows the spreader to run closer to the edge, and it's just better at covering the corners. In fact, being that far off, I can probably do smooth. Let's do that again. Excellent. Great. And while that guy's doing that, I think we'll run over, jump in the International, get the plow hooked up to it, get it ready to go. Okay, we'll go ahead and set this up. Whoa. Heck no. What are we doing here? No, it's not 42. 3. Okay. Oh my, excellent. So we managed to lime that entire field and with one load of fertilizer. Wow. Yeah, all fertilizer and lime spreaders are not created equal. It's pretty interesting how the usage on these things can be kind of all over the board. You know, there's some that hardly use any at all. In fact, you can fill them up and you can fertilize, 25 fields on a map this size. And then there's others that you fill them up. They do half a lap of the field and they're empty. Okay. All right. Excellent. Let's go over here and get our fertilizer out. Okay. Get over here and fill up. Let's see. Thought there was a partial bag in there. Oh, there's our twine. No. I think one of these is a partial bag. And we're going to be close to full. About 4,000 liters. Yeah. That should be more than enough. All right, I think we'll go up to field 74 first. Go ahead and get started up there. And since he was so courteous to lime that field, now we can go ahead and start our plow. Curious to see how long this thing's going to take in here. 43 minutes. Well, I won't burden you folks by making you watch all of that, certainly. I do want to get these fields limed, plowed, planted, or seeded, possibly fertilized in today before I move on to October. But obviously I will probably be finishing some of these tasks off camera. I wish this is where another tractor would come in handy. I'd love to be able to start the seeder in that far field over there, but we're going to have to wait until one of these two is available. Which brings me to, why don't we check the used market? Not that we have a ton of money. Let's see what's out there. Well, nice T8, that'd be good. Oh yeah, could definitely use that. Auto load bale forks. Don't tempt me. And this is also an auto loading bale fork. Oh wow, look at that nice Challenger. Wouldn't that be fabulous? And 45% off. Really, oh, that's a nice class harvester. 48,000 for that. Oh wow, nice old Dodge truck there. Well, there we go. I suppose if we wanted another tractor, we could purchase this old thing for 13 grand and use it to tow our old cedar around. But I'm really not interested in purchasing a bunch more old equipment. I'd really, if we're gonna upgrade anything, I'd like to be able to truly get some bigger, more modern equipment. Nice grain truck. Now again, another small tractor, a little more modern than the International there, but again, this is only what now 90 horsepower. Yeah, it'd be pretty limited with what we can do with that. And in case you're wondering, why are there so many items in the used equipment sale? Again, I have a mod installed that I think it's called used vehicle customization or used vehicle sales system. And it allows you to, and you have to do this in the XML, but it allows you to establish how many vehicles maximum can show up in your sale and how long they can be there and how often they can be regenerated and what the maximum discount can be. So you'll see this change pretty frequently as time passes. Okay. Well, as we're waiting on our plow to do his thing here, and are waiting on our fertilizing tractor to get to its field, I will share this with you folks. I am no longer talking to myself. As of this morning, I was absolutely ecstatic and delighted when I logged in this morning just to see kind of where we were at after posting the second episode just yesterday. And I was really impressed to see that between the two episodes, there was a total of 26 views. I actually got a like, and believe it or not, we are now a community or a family of 4 because I now have 3 subscribers. So again, I'm no longer talking to myself. And I also received my first comment. My first comment came from our friend in the Northern Farm Sim, whom I spoke about in the last episode, and he left a very, very nice, encouraging word, kind of welcoming me to the content creation community, and that was great to see. Great to see. So by all means, if you're watching this and you're inclined to comment, offer a suggestion, a solution, some creative input, I would love to hear it. As I said, this is the first go-around for me. I've never done this before. So I'm literally learning as I go, and I'm making this up as I go. Okay, I believe and it is. Here we go. Excellent. Okay. Now, this is our field, so let me jump out here. Now, fully grown field of corn, and yeah, we're going to fertilize it. Okay. All right, then. Hey, we'll take it, right? So as we get started here, once again, I want to thank those of you who have taken the time to watch this series and subscribe. I really, really do appreciate you, and you have no idea how much. It is nice to know that somebody's watching, and I am no longer just entertaining myself. Even though I have been told at times that I am my own best audience, it is much more enjoyable to know that others are paying attention and possibly entertained as well. Okay, this isn't going to take us too long, so we have this field and one more. I believe the other field might be a little smaller, so I don't think we'll be gone too long. We'll be able to get this tractor back and potentially hooked up to our seeder and get moving with that process as well. You know, when I jumped into the menu the last time, some of you may have noticed something peculiar, and you'll notice that here that I have the multiplayer menu options, and there's a reason for that, because I'm actually playing this game on multiplayer. Now there's no one else in it with me, but I have set it up in multiplayer for a reason. So I have our farm, Midwest Contracting, in here, and then I have Midwest Brothers Implements, which is essentially the shop, and I have proxy rights to the Midwest Implements farm as well. So I have, or I guess contractor rights is what that's called. But the reason I did that, and let me just show you. So let me just flip back over here real quick, and we'll join the Midwest Brothers Implements farm and get kicked out of our tractor. And then if I go up here on the menu, I had to go out and come back in. If I go now to the shop, which is down here, you'll notice something. So all of those vehicles that I showed you in the used vehicle section that are there, well, on occasion, some stuff's going to show up in there that we're going to say, man, we'd really like to have that stuff. And it might at some point come in handy. So you'll notice what I've done as I made my first trip through there, setting the game up. There were a few things in there that I actually liked. This John Deere tractor and this Kubota tractor. And if you look, they're owned by Midwest Brothers Implements. So, and it's the same thing over here with this really, really nice Krone windrower, owned by Midwest Brothers, and this really neat planter. So why did I do that? Well, it's simple. So any time that, as you probably have experienced, any time that you purchase a vehicle and then resell a vehicle, it automatically shows up in the used vehicle sale. So like this old Farmall, for instance, there's a reason it's there. It's there because when I was doing the setup, I initially was going to use this tractor, and then I decided against it. So I sold it. When I sold it, it popped in here. Well, here's the interesting thing. So all of these items that are owned by Midwest Brothers Implements came out of the used vehicle sale, but they're sitting here. And all I have to do when I join the Midwest Brothers Implements farm is jump into one of these vehicles, drive it over here to the shop trigger or the repair trigger, customized trigger, sell trigger, and sell it. And when I do, it will appear back in the used vehicle sale. And at that point, then if I, as the owner of Midwest Contracting Farms, decide I want to buy that tractor or these implements, then I can. So in a way, I'm doing this primarily as a way to game the system or game the used vehicle sales system. Because like I said, eventually there are going to be things that are going to show up in here and we're going to be like, man, I wish we could afford that. There's going to come a time when we're really going to want that and it's not going to be here. So I'm not going to do this with everything. But if there are tractors, any other potential equipment that we might decide that we want as we start working through this process and upgrading, I will simply purchase it as the shop and just set it out here on the lot. Make sense? I hope it did to you, because I don't know that all the babbling I did made sense to me. Okay. Let me go back to our and by the way, I've done this before. I've used multiplayer like this before, not for the purpose necessarily of gaming the used vehicle system, but as much as I've used it kind of as a role play feature. So, and it's really great on a big map like this, because one of the things I consider doing that I've done before in my own playthrough is setting up an actual farm, a big farm on this map, that owns several of these large fields, a farm that has a bunch of new modern big equipment, and then playing the role of essentially going to work for that farm and being paid a salary and a cut of the proceeds from the crop sales, so that I could essentially buy my own farm, build my own farm, or build up my own contracting business. And that works out great using the multiplayer function, because you have the ability in multiplayer, as you know, to transfer money back and forth between farms. So I can pay myself a salary, I can pay myself a commission or a cut of the crop sales, so on and so on and so forth. And it's kind of a unique way to play. I think I might have mentioned the last video. I tend to look for creative ways to play the game, to start the game. Having maybe that subplot going on, I guess, helps me stay that much more engaged and interested. Okay, 5 more minutes and we're done here. We can head up to field 64 and take care of that contract. Since we've got some time here too, I wanted to, I know I brought up in the last video about, kind of this conundrum of what's Giants going to do? Are they going to stay with 22 another year, saddle that bad boy up and ride it, or can we expect an announcement for a new version, potentially 25? And I just saw this morning, as I was getting ready to start recording, the Farm Sim guy, it did another mod map preview, and this map is just absolutely unbelievable. It's set in Montana, and it's not out yet, but typically when he does these map previews, those maps are literally available within a week or so. So I would expect that map will be coming out. But again, just a spectacular map. And as I'm watching the Farm Sim guy do this preview of this map, I'm thinking to myself, wow, again, 22 just seems to really be hitting its stride. We're seeing a lot of really, really great content being created, and the quality of that content is continuing to improve. It just seems like such a shame to entertain the notion of cutting the cord and starting over. But again, love to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Are you bored with 22? Are you ready to move on? And if you are, hey, that's no big deal. I get it. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of really cool things that are going to come out in the next version of Farming Simulator that are going to be just absolutely amazing. Check on our plow here. Well, he hasn't gone into the ditch, the creek, or the trees. So, yeah, we're making progress. And oh, by the way, in the last video, I mentioned and actually linked in my description a couple of the content creators that I follow and that I really, really enjoy. Who are yours? If I know there's so many people out there who do this, probably a lot that I'm not even aware of. So post in the comments who your favorites are. I'd love to check them out myself. And tell me why you enjoy them. I'll check a couple of settings here. There we go. Yeah, right here. I don't know why the default of these is the opposite. Raise early and lower late. Because I've noticed repeatedly that see over here on our first up and down row, the plow missed those weeds. That's what happens, you know. If you're using Courseplay and you're getting, you know, kind of those gaps at the end of your rows, check that setting. That's probably your culprit. Like I said, I don't know why the default is to raise early and lower late when it should be the other way around. We want to raise late and lower early. So we've got our contract for field 74 completed. Let's go in and collect that, and maybe take a peek and see what else is out there. Although with all the field work we're doing today, I doubt we're going to have the opportunity to pick anything else up. 17,000, sure. Thank you so much. Definitely take that one. Turn the details on. Oh wow, some really nice baling contracts. Big cultivating contracts still out there. Ton more fertilizing contracts. Yeah, if we didn't have all this field work to do on our own fields, I definitely would as I said, I believe I set the limit per day for those things to be 3. I would definitely take 3 of these larger ones here and go ahead and enjoy them. Harvesting contracts. That really is kind of what I wanted to do today. It was a harvesting contract, but then again, I got to thinking about our fields and thought, you know, I'd really like to get a crop in there and take advantage of the fact that we can have something ready to harvest when it's at its peak. You know, and at that point, I think maybe, as I mentioned in the last episode, I'll probably convert those fields over, or at least one of them over, to alfalfa, so that we can make and cut alfalfa hay and have that as an income stream. And perhaps we'll leave one of the fields that we have as a arable crop field. Oh, that field's just up here on the right. Again, a fully grown cornfield. we should be harvesting that for silage, not just fertilizing it for the first time. And off you go. 15 minutes. That's moving right along. This is moving right along. Okay, I'll tell you what, folks. I'm going to go ahead and check out here for a moment. Let some of these projects complete. Let this plowing get done, and let the fertilizing contract get completed, and then I will pick you back up when we're ready to start something new. How does that sound? Be back with you momentarily. Okay, everybody, welcome back in. Well, we've finished plowing our field. That's all done. I'm going to disconnect this bad boy. The fertilizing contract that we had on field 64, that's complete, so we can go ahead and collect that thing. Do that here right now while we're waiting on the tractor to get back with the fertilizer spreader. Okay, and just that quick, we're sitting at right around $71,000. Pretty good. And here comes the Ford. I think what I'm going to do real quick, that field right there that we just plowed has 0 fertilization, so I'm going to jump in this thing here and see maybe if we can get a layer of fertilization on this before we seed it. It'd be kind of nice to have that done. And the other field over there is 50% fertilized, so if I can get a layer down now, then seed it, then after the seed germinates next month in October, we can put our final application of fertilizer on and we'll be done. And since both fields are plowed, we are not going to have to worry about any weeds, at least this go around anyway, which is a good thing, because you know, the other thing we don't have is a sprayer. All right, let's see what this does here. I kind of lose track sometimes as to when you can and when you can't, and what works and what doesn't. All right, let's take a look here. Ah, yeah, okay, it did. Yeah, 50%, excellent. And over here, 0. Great. Okay, perfect. So we'll get a layer of fertilization down here. And then we'll go ahead and get this seeded, which I guess we may as well go ahead and hook up to our seeder and get that filled, huh? Don't really need those dual wheels on there, but I don't even have a toolbox to take them off. Oh, one of the things I did want to share with everybody. So between the the first and second episode, I gave into the urge to purchase a Thrustmaster steering kit, which came with the steering wheel, the pedals, and the nice desk bracket that allows you to change the angle and the height of the wheel itself. And I also purchased the Thrustmaster farm stick joystick. And so here's where I'm at with it. I really like the Thrustmaster farm stick joystick. That thing's great. I mean, it's amazing. And it basically all you gotta do is plug it in, and it maps everything all by itself. It's got an inordinate number of buttons on it, and trust me, everything does something. But it's a nice little tool. I do kind of like it. As for this steering wheel and the pedals, well, I'm still out to lunch on that one. I don't know. The jury's still out. I feel like the steering wheel needs to be a little more sensitive than it is. I feel like the pedals are a little stiff. There's kind of like dead spots in them almost. So after that mega purchase and spending the time to set it all up and map all the buttons and everything, I'm back to using my controller. Oh, brother. Okay, we'll do 6. We'll do sharp. And we'll do 7. Sharp. Skip 1. Generate. This is going to take quite a while, especially on that larger field. 3 meters, 43. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save this course. I'm really not sure how long we're going to have this seeder. To be honest with you, I kind of would like to upgrade this thing as quickly as possible. But again, I don't see us doing. Whoa, you know what? Stop. I'm going to back up here. I said oats. There we go, oats. So again, I'm not sure how long we're going to have this seeder. I would like. Whoa. What did I do wrong here? Stop. Technical difficulty. Can't even finish my thought, which is a lousy thing because I'm not going to remember what I was saying. And now let's see if you'll play nice. Okay, we appear to be planting oats. Let's see what we've got here. Oats. Yeah, it needs rolling. Yeah, we don't have one of those either. Whoa, that's interesting. Little hill right there in the middle of the field. Now I suppose I could, since I'm sitting here waiting on this, which is going to take quite a while, and I'm not going to put you through all that. We could go ahead and take another fertilizing contract. What do we want to do? Take another one or not? Nah, you guys have seen enough of that. I'll wait. We'll finish up this sowing here. Get these two fields planted and buttoned up, and then we'll probably just call it an episode. And then I think what I may do for our next episode is we'll go ahead and try to get into something that offers a little more variety, perhaps a harvesting contract and or a baling contract. So we'll go ahead and put our spreader away. There we go. Actually, it would be kind of nice to take a baling contract. I can show you guys how this old mower over here works. Maybe we'll do one of those. As long as it's a contract to make hay and not silage will be good, because we don't have a wrapper. Okay, moving right along here. Yeah, this is going to be about an hour before it's done. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to go ahead and leave you one more time. I will rejoin you when we are ready to wrap up this field and start the next one. How's that sound? See you in a bit. And welcome back, everybody. We are just finishing up seeding our oats in this first field. It really wasn't all that bad for as small as this seeder is. I did have to fill it up one time, but not too bad. It was functional. And while we were away, I went ahead and did some shopping, just looking at the possibility of upgrading the seeder. Again, that was the thought I never finished because I was having technical difficulties. You know, I would love to upgrade this seeder, but as I said, I don't really see us doing a lot of sowing contracts. So there's that. That means that, you know, we'll primarily use whatever we have on our own fields, which ultimately will probably be this, because again, that one over there, I would eventually like to turn into a nice field of alfalfa to make some alfalfa hay. And so that won't need to be reseeded on a regular basis. Let's go ahead and fill up here. And we'll get started with the next field. So as I was looking around, you know, there just aren't a lot of good options for kind of, I'll say, you know, 5-6 meter seeders that both fertilize and seed. You know, there's a really nice knockerling that's out there that yeah, that would be great. That's $44,000 at 6 meters, but it doesn't fertilize. Here, we'll take a quick look together. There's of course this thing here, this John Deere, and of course it has a mate to it, international mate to it. You know, that's probably the best option. You know, if you're just starting out on a map, you don't have a lot of money. It's $6,000. It's 5.2 meters, and it fertilizes and seeds. And you're not going to find anything else at that price point that does that. You know, now there is this. Okay, that's 6 meters. It's not horribly expensive, $17,000. Again, it seeds, but it doesn't fertilize. Well, is that a problem? Well, perhaps not. If we're not going to do a lot of, you know, we're not seeding a bunch of our own fields where we would want to fertilize. And frankly, if we're seeding fields that we're doing for contracts, where we're certainly not going to fertilize because, well, we'll want the fertilizing contract, right? So that's certainly an option. I've used this mod before. It's okay. Beyond that, like I said, and this is a good seeder. I've used it several times. It works very well. But again, it doesn't have a fertilization option. But it is 6 meters, 44,000. To essentially get both and to get something that's going to function pretty consistently, pretty well, have a good working speed, we're all the way down here for $100,000. So I guess, it's kind of a conundrum. I mean, do I want to spend, or do we want to spend $40,000 on something like this to essentially just seed our own fields? Or do we go with something like this AirSum here, which we can, well, at least we can color it any way that we want to. Give it a New Holland design, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that would work. Anyway, as I said, that's basically our conundrum, or our option. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do we upgrade the seeder, or do we just live with it? Right now, looking at these prices and knowing that there's so many other things I'd really like to have and I'd like to start upgrading, I think this is something that's probably can wait, and I'm willing to live with it. All right, so let's get our course set up here for this one, for field 45. Just go with the same settings. Yeah. Tell you what, I'm going to run this back to just that. Oh, that's ugly. Holy buckets. That's going to take forever to do. And just out of curiosity, what are we looking at for time on this bad boy? Oh, shoot. That's right. I don't know why, but it's not lowering and turning on the seeder. And it seems to me I've had this problem with this particular seeder in the past. There we go. 2 hours and 17 minutes. Well, it's not horrible. I am going to turn the time up, though. Okay, well, we're moving right along here. And we'll let this go ahead and do its thing. While it does, I think what we're going to do is one more small project. We're going to make a small purchase. And then I think I'm going to cut you folks loose. And I will finish sowing this field. And when we see each other again, it will be October. And we'll make a decision what we want to do. But as I said, I don't even have a toolbox. I can't fix anything. I can't repair anything. I can't get the dual wheels off the tractor that we don't need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy us something to fix our junk. This should work. Free mode. Let's live on the wild side. Okay. There it is. Let's see how we did. Hopefully it's not sticking through the back over here. No, we're good. Okay. All right. Let's pull our truck back in. Okay. What do we got here? Great. Repair for $1. Well, why not? Ah. Interesting. Okay. So I think I might have mentioned in a previous episode I have realistic vehicle damage on. So that means then that any service work has to follow that protocol, which essentially the vehicle has to be inspected or analyzed to determine what, if anything, is wrong with it. And if something is wrong with it, then it has to be put in the shop for a random amount of time. It could be a few hours. It could be an entire in-game day, or in our case, a month. Yeah. So there, we have a repair shop or a repair place that we can at least repair our implements and do things like customize our vehicles, change our tires, so on and so on and so forth. So that's that. I will, as I said, when we rejoin each other, it will be October, and I will have these fields planted, and we will move on to other things. Again, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to join me. If you liked what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't like what you saw, please offer a comment and let me know why. And if you haven't considered subscribing, I would appreciate if you would consider doing so. Have a great day, everybody.